All right, so in this section, we'll be going straight into developing our portfolio website. So our portfolio website would have different sections, which includes the introduction. So our introduction would have our profile picture, the name. So let's go ahead and list some of the things. So the best approach to listing the page requirements will be to comment them out. So to comment out, let's say you put 2 brackets and an exclamation sign with 4 dots. All right, so that will be our comment. All right, so a comment is very necessary because it tells anyone who picks up your code what exactly you are intending to get at. So now we're saying that our portfolio website, our portfolio website should have one, the introduction, and our introduction should have what? Should have our introduction should have our profile picture, and it should also have a what? A name, and it should also have, oh no, should be inside. A name should have also a professional title, and what else? And let's say our quote. Okay, so you should also have our quote. So now also our portfolio website should also have an about section, which should say who I am, and what I like. Okay, then the third section will be what? Our portfolio section should have our portfolio, and finally we should have links to our other pages and contact form for anyone to contact us. Okay, so now let's get started with developing each section one by one. All right, so notice that anywhere the comment stopped, that is where we would have the arrow stopping. Okay, all right, now let's continue. Now this is going to be our introduction section. We should have our profile picture. So a picture is usually denoted by an image, right? But before we do that, we need to put it in a box like we talked about in the previous video. So let's put it in a div. So inside the div we would have an image, and inside this image we'll have the image source. Okay, so our image source would be an external site because we do not want to save our image locally. So let's also put a header h1, and this, our header should have our name, let's say John Doe, and also let's go over to put in another header, which is a head 3. I will say software developer, and also that's our professional title. And now we should also have a quote. So our quote, we can say it's a paragraph, and then we put it into a quote, and we'll say this is our quote. Okay, so now let's source for an image for our img file. So let's say image side image. Let's say side image of a man. All right, so here we can quickly get one of these. Okay, so we can easily get this image link, image address. All right, so here we can come here and paste it. All right, so that will be all. So now we have an image which is from an external website. Okay, so we'll put it in this src tag. Okay, so let's close out our image and let's go ahead and save. And when we save it, and when we go to our portfolio and refresh, this is what we find. Okay, so our image is there, our name is there, and our professional title is there, and our quote is also there. This is our quote. Okay, so now the second section of our portfolio website is going to be the about section. So now after the div, we can as well, so everything, if you notice, everything is inside the body tag of our HTML. All right, so after that div, we would also want to put in another comment to say this is our about section, and another comment should say what our about section should have. So our about section should have what? Who I am, who I am, and what I like. Okay, so there we go. So let's go ahead and start with putting it inside a container or a div, and then let's put it into another box or div where we can put our h3. Now h3 should say that I am who I am, and also we can now use our unordered list to show what this is. So our another list should also have list items. Okay, so let's say an or a pilot, and it should be a chef, and also a let's say pasta. Okay, so that should be it for this our about section. All right, so let's go ahead and save. File, save, or Ctrl S, and when we come here and we refresh, we should have our about section. Good. So now we also talked about developer tools. So developer tools are the tools that every web developer should know or know how to use. So to get developer tools on a web browser, you should have this on it, and go to more tools and go to developer tools. or the shortcut will be what? Control plus Shift plus I. So once you go to your developer tools, you will realize that everything that you have been doing is being recorded. Okay, so when you expand your body tag, you would see your comment first, and then you see each div. So this is the first div, which is our introduction div, and then this is our second div. So notice that at the bottom, when I hover about the second div, it comes up with the second div. Okay, so and when I expand, I can see what is inside our div. Okay, so that is our developer tools. So you would use this tool more often in this course and in your future career as a website developer. Great. So now let's go further into developing our site. So the second section would be the what will be our our third section will be portfolio section. So it will be portfolio section. So let's come out from our div, and outside our div, let's put a comment, and let's say that this is our portfolio section, and there we can say that now we can also put it into another box. Let's say div, and inside our div now we can have the header, which will be our portfolio h3. So you can name it my project, and outside our header we can put in an image. Okay, with a source. So the source of our image, we can use the same image. All right. So and then post it there. All right. So since we need more than one portfolio, we can just copy these up and paste it 3 times at least, just to show our portfolio. Good. All right, so now we have our portfolio section. Now the next section would be the links and our contact form. So let's go over to the links and contact form section by putting in our comments. All right, so let's go over to our portfolio section, and there our link section. So this will be our links section. Under our link section, we would also want to put it into a div, and our div should have a header. Inside our header, I would say this will be our links, and also let's put in another list of list items, and inside our list items we would have our anchor tag. All right, and this our anchor tag will lead us to our Facebook link. So, and anchor tags usually have a reference, so you should have href, which will be what, https facebook.com/user. Okay, so this will be our social link. Now we can copy it and make it provide at least 3 links for our site. So here we can also say this will be twitter.com, and this should be Twitter, and then this will be what? LinkedIn. Let's put this to be LinkedIn, and it should be linkedin.com. all right, so that will be our social links. And now let's also put in our contact form. All right, so notice that I make sure that every section is put inside a div. All right, so here will be our what? Contact form link. So inside our contact form, we'll have our div, and inside our div we'll have a form div, a form tag. Inside our form tag, our form action, our form should have an action which is equal to our hash. All right, great. So now also we should have a label which should be for. This will be our email. Okay, close this, and inside our label we'll see email, and we have an input, and notice that our input tag is self-closing. All right, so our input also has properties of type email and the ID equal to email, also the placeholder equal to enter your email. All right, so that will be for our email, label for our email. Let's put another label for messages. Let's put another label for messages, or message. And in our message, let's say that our message should be text area ID is equal to message and your message. Okay, so also we have another input tag. After our label, we have another input tag. We type submit, which is valid. To be equal to send message. Okay, so this is our code in full, and we see that our input tag also is self-closing. All right, so let's save our work, and then we can go and check it out on our browser to see what it looks like. All right, so this is the beginning of the work, and let's refresh it. So this is our introduction section, and this is our project section, and also this is our linking section, and this is our email section and contact form. Okay, so also look at our contact form. When we put a message and we click on submit, notice what happens. We have just index.html at first, but when we click on submit, then it takes us to !hash. Now, why does this happen? This happens because we put our function, the input type to submit, and also we say that our form has an action of hash. Okay, so this is a property that we shall be discussing in the later sections of this tutorial. Okay, so see you again in the next section.